You know, I knew Paul Gravett from the past, and he actually introduced me and started talking to me about Le-Vel before it ever opened. And my mind was just in a different place. I wanted to be the weight loss guru for a large company. Finally, like they said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and I finally heard the conversation. You know, I finally heard the things that Paul was telling me about Le-Vel, and I instantly knew that this was going to be, Le-Vel was going to be the thing that changed my life and my family's life forever. You know, I actually grew up about a block from here. We're in Riverton, Utah. I was the only child. They were married before and had kids, so I have 3 stepbrothers, or 3 on one side and 5 on the other side. Graduated from the University of Utah with a bachelor's degree in exercise and sports science. Worked in the rehab fields for a year or 2, and the rest of my life until Le-Vel was spent being a personal trainer. You know, when I wrote my weight loss book, I consulted with many companies in the direct sell space. Some of them, I kind of got to see behind the curtain, and I lost the belief in the products. So when Paul called me and started talking about the company's cloud-based business model, the fact that Le-Vel has no office buildings, 90% reduction in staff, and started talking about the kind of resources they were putting into the actual product, right there I knew that I had a better product than I had ever taken myself personally or ever shared with anybody else. And I knew if I had something that really did make an impact, I could go out and share it with a lot of people, and it would just grow virally. Within a couple of months, I was back to working out, didn't have any issues, and haven't ever since. Probably bigger than that, there's been a lot of periods in my adult life where I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, and I haven't had to deal with that in almost 5 years, which has changed everything in my life, from business to my relationships. Just everything has dramatically improved. Yep, so we have my side of the office, which, you know, we got our 200K sign and Le-Vel Millionaire Award, and that was right before Tracy and I got married. Success from Home Magazine, the first one that Le-Vel did. And then we love art, me and Tracy. I love being home, and I love to be surrounded by beautiful things. And so we've really gotten into art, and this is Tracy's wedding dress. And from the day that we got married, I just always felt like it was something that should be a piece of art rather than sitting in a closet. John Wayne he reminds me of my dad. My dad was a cowboy growing up. We had tons of horses. I hated them. By the time I was 10, he'd turned the barn into a basketball court for me because I didn't like horses. And when we started Le-Vel, Tracy said, "I want to get a horse." And I was like, "What do you mean get a horse? You never talked about horses in 10 years since I've known you. We never went by a field and you thought horses were beautiful." And she said, "Well, I never thought I'd have one." This is Tracy's horse Piper. About 2 weeks before Tracy broke her back, Piper broke her back. Told us to put her down, and we said, "Nope, we're not gonna do it." And today Tracy rides her, so she has a very serious bond with her, for sure. At the end of the day, none of this would be possible without Thrive or without Le-Vel. I mean, we have a product that people love, that they want to keep taking. None of this would be true. I mean, when me and Tracy started Le-Vel, we were barely getting by. All we were taking care of is ourselves. And, you know, at this point, we have usually 15 to 20 horses at a time, and we're taking care of all of them and ourselves, and pretty amazing feeling to have that financial freedom.
Our life has changed dramatically, but it really boiled down to dreams. and having them. You know, we teach our kids, you can grow up to be anything you put your mind to. You could be the president, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer. But as we get older, a lot of times those dreams get pushed to the wayside of reality and life and bills. Mike never pushed his dreams aside. They were always front and center. There's a little kid inside of all of us that had dreams. And if you put forth the effort and you work really hard, we live in an amazing country where things are possible. And he accomplished it.
For probably the first 2 to 3 years, I don't think I ever sat down and had a meal with Tracy where I wasn't outside on a three-way call. Even in the middle of winter, I remember my hand freezing because I don't like Bluetooth stuff. I always like to have the phone in my hand, and my hand was freezing off, and I'd come in and she'd already eaten, you know, and she'd have my meal in a to-go box. But it didn't matter if we were at a movie, never went. I never got through a movie because I was always outside responding to a call. And, you know, she had the vision with me. She knew that this was it, and we had to make those sacrifices. But I always tell people it wasn't really a sacrifice, because when you're chasing your dream and they're starting to come true, it's not a sacrifice, because every call, every person I talked to, every brand new person I brought in was one step closer to the life that we really wanted. Yeah, my mom, she actually grew up in Nazi Germany during the war, and I mean bombings every night, and a lot of her friends disappeared because they were Jewish and they were picked up, and she actually married a U.S. soldier when she was 15. Her parents really wanted her to get out of Germany, and so she married a U.S. soldier, came over here. And I mean, when you're dealing with lots of people, and you know, if you're a leader and you have lots of people in your team, you know, it's always interesting when people make their life to be so bad because they have to work 2 jobs, or they have to, but you know, you see their house and they got a nice house, they got 2 nice, fairly new cars, they got big screen TVs everywhere in their house, and they think it's, you know, they think they have it bad, and reality is most people in America, I mean, they don't even know what bad is, because we just live in such a world of abundance that people don't understand what most people have to do and live through in this, you know, around the world. I think honestly one of the big keys to success is to be grateful for wherever you're at, and for all of the people in your network, all the people in your team, because every single person in your network is responsible for your success. I mean, you never create success by yourself. And I think no matter what, when you're grateful for where you're at, it opens up everything. And I know Tracy and I are just extremely grateful for Paul and Jason.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mike Page! I was going somewhere. It didn't matter if you joined me or not. I personally was going somewhere. And if you wanted to, I mean, and I felt so blessed. Every time I called somebody, I felt like I was offering them the best nutrition that you could possibly put in your body. Just something that honestly is a true gift.
It's always funny when somebody calls me and they say, oh my gosh, I've got the next superstar. Very rarely does that ever materialize. It's always the person that someone would never think would do this in a million years that has a strong why, that knows, you know, they have a strong drive for why they want to accomplish this. And you would never in a million years think they're the person that was going to change your life forever. And that's the blessing of Le-Vel, is that anyone, regardless of their background, regardless of their education, regardless of who they know, they can create success if they really want to. You have to keep moving forward, no matter what, with the belief that you're going to get there. Nothing's going to stop you but yourself.